Hi guys, welcome back. So today we've got this 8V S3 in for a bunch of upgrades, including ECU software, intake and exhaust. So before we jump into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, also notification bell, and then you won't miss when our new videos go live. So ECU software, intake and exhaust upgrades today. So we're installing the APR Stage 1 ECU software, so optimizing the fuel and ignition boost and all the other maps inside the ECU. At the same time, we're installing the DSG software. So that means that we can install the Stage 1 high output file. And the DSG software allows us to do that because it increases the clamping pressure of the clutches inside the gearbox, the torque limits, improves the shifting time as well. So we can really take advantage of all the power potential from Stage 1 ECU software. As well as that, we're doing the full Racingline 4-piece intake package. So you've got the intake, so the intake airbox, you've got the hose, the turbo inlet and the turbo muffler delete, so you'll be able to hear a lot more sort of like sound from the engine and the turbo, and also improve flow into the turbo, into the engine as well, so unlock a little bit more power with your Stage 1. At the same time, we're going to be doing a Milltek Cat-Back Exhaust system. The one that this customer's gone for is a resonated system with the Cerakote Oval black tips. So one we haven't done before, so we're quite excited to get that on the car, see what it looks like, see what it sounds like as well. It's a non-GPF car, this one as well, so hasn't quite got the muted exhaust from the factory, but the Milltek's going to obviously improve the tone and the volume quite a bit as well. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to get the car on the dyno, benchmark the standard power, get the car in the workshop, walk you through all the upgraded parts, and then get them fitted. This customer's also booked in for an MOT and service at the same time, so we're going to do that and then get it on the dyno, walk you through the power figures at the end of the video, and also compare the intake and exhaust sounds to stock. So you'll see a little bit later on. Okay, so we've got the 8V S3 on the ramps behind us. You would have seen earlier on the car on the dyno, so you would have seen what it made on the with the standard software, standard hardware on the car. And we've got some of the upgraded parts out here in front of us. So before we install them, I'm just going to walk you through them. So on my right hand side, we've got the Milltek Resonated Exhaust system with the Cerakote black oval tips as well. So this is your center resonator. So this connects to the factory downpipe. So we're still leaving all the original emission control systems in the vehicle, so it still passes all the MOT and things like that. And then you've got the rear silencer here. Obviously both of these silencers are more sort of like oriented to more sportier sounds, so it's going to improve the tone and the volume of the car. And then you also, on the Milltek valve systems as well, you have the valves in the back box. So what this allows us to do is to remove the valve controllers from the factory exhaust system, put them on the Milltek back box, and you retain all of your sound control from inside the car as well. And then obviously you've got the nice aesthetic upgrade at the back with the Cerakote tips, which are going to look really cool in this car, especially the oval. And then intake wise on this car, we're installing the full 4-piece Racingline intake. So starting off at the front, we've got the Racingline R600 intake airbox. So this replaces the factory airbox, houses a much higher flow air filter, which you can see here, and then the intake is across the whole entire front end of the vehicle. So rather than it just being on one side of the front end, it's across both sides, so you get the full flow of fresh air that is possible. And then going from the intake, we've replaced or are replacing the intake hose. The factory item is like a corrugated plastic part, so it creates a lot of turbulence, and this is a nice sort of aesthetic upgrade for the engine bay as well, because the corrugated factory hose is quite gross. And then going on from the intake hose down to the turbo intake elbow. So the turbo is on this side, the silicone intake hose is on this side, and the factory plastic part has a very big restriction inside here, and obviously just at the entry of the turbo, that's going to cause like a significant performance loss. So with this part, it's the whole possible bore that it can be, so it's uninhibited flow straight into the turbo. The intake parts here unlock a decent amount of power, turbo boost response, and also sound as well. And then on the outlet of the turbo, replacing the factory turbo muffler, which has like 2 chambers designed to sort of like silence the turbo sounds, kind of like a resonator. And we're installing basically a straight through turbo muffler delete on there, so you can hear more of the turbo sounds that are basically hidden by the factory turbo muffler. As well as that, so we're going to get all of these parts fitted, and we're going to be doing a MOT on this vehicle as well whilst it's in, and then giving it a service. And once all that's done, we're going to take it onto the dyno. We're going to flash the APR ECU TCU software and see what power output it makes all of this, and we'll see a little bit later on to talk you through those graphs. Okay, so we're back on the dyno after finishing installing all the upgrades on this 8V S3. I'm just going to recap. Obviously, we've installed APR ECU and TCU software, as well as Racingline 4-piece intake and a Milltek Cat-Back Exhaust. So you can see the graphs behind me, and we're just going to talk you through them. So you can see that the red lines are the horsepower, the blue lines are the torque, with the dotted lines being as the car arrived, and the solid lines as it's leaving us. As you see, there's massive gains all the way across the rev range. So this morning this car came in making around 322 horsepower at peak and 300 foot-pounds. And then leaving us today, it's leaving us with 381 horsepower and then 396 foot-pounds of torque. So a massive difference on this car. The maximum gains within the rev range, you're looking at around about 81 horsepower at 4,950 RPM, and then 93 foot-pounds at 4,550, with the standard peak power of 322 horsepower now being made all the way down at 4,250 RPM. So everything from 4,250 right to the rev limit, which is about 6.8, is more horsepower than standard. So a massive difference. And it's now making peak horsepower around 2,000 RPM sooner. So it's going to be a complete night and day different car to drive in terms of power, torque, power delivery. And then obviously you've got the intake sounds, the turbo sounds, and the exhaust system with the nice little upgrade at the rear of the car as well with the tips. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then please give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to watch other videos of ours that YouTube thinks you'll like, then click up here. If you'd like to watch some other videos that we have in the same playlist, then click here. And obviously if you enjoyed the video, then we really appreciate if you gave us a subscription. And then obviously you'll be updated when other videos of ours go live, and you can do that quite easily by clicking here. Hope to see you soon.